Hi, welcome to the Learning Quest channel. I'm your host Salim Akhtar Malik. Learning Quest is an educational channel that facilitates the management science students in reinforcing their studies at their respective institutions by viewing the online lessons offered by the Learning Quest. You can get the transcripts or hard copies of the lessons offered by us online by writing to us at the address flashed on the screen. These hard copies are provided free of cost. This is tutorial 3 of the Principles of Management. In this tutorial, I'll be talking to you about the planning function of management. In planning, I'll talk to you about introduction to the planning function, management by objectives, categories of planning, major types of plans, strategic planning tools, and decision making. So, what is planning? Planning is selecting information and making assumptions regarding the future to formulate activities necessary to achieve organizational objectives. Planning is composed of numerous decisions oriented to the future, and it determines size and type of organization necessary for operation, types of activities required in the organization, and the control systems necessary to monitor progress. Much of what an organization considers planning is really nothing more than a sales forecast or projection. And there is no logical reason for a company to expect a sales increase when it intends to do nothing different from what it did the preceding year. What does it mean? It means that planning is not a static phenomena. It keeps changing, and it is a continuous process which goes on in the company. So planning does not stop. We come to the concept of management by objectives. The essence of management is to achieve a stated goal, and if no purpose or result is sought, there is no justification for managerial planning. The managerial objective is the intended goal that prescribes definite scope and suggests direction to the planning efforts of a manager. Management by objectives includes four concepts, and these are: firstly, the goal, which should be specific; scope, which prescribes boundaries or constraints to be observed; then there is definiteness. Purposes stated in vague or double meanings have no managerial value. These should be clear. And lastly, it is direction, which is indicated by the objective. And management by objectives emphasizes results or the achievement of objectives instead of activities. It places importance on human behavior through the fulfillment of needs from work efforts, and it is a system by which each employee participates in determining personal objectives as well as the means by which he or she hopes to achieve these objectives. Now we talk about the drawbacks in management by objectives. Management by objectives may not be the result of participation by stakeholders. It may be at variance with the overall enterprise objectives, may not be challenging, may be unrealistic, and lastly, it may be over ambitious. We now come to the categories of plans. These categories fall within the time dimension. So, what is time dimension? One common ingredient of all planning is time. we can say that planning is a time-dimensional managerial function. Plans with respect to time can be classified as strategic plans or tactical plans. Strategic plans are the long-range plans having a period of over 5 years, and tactical plans are the plans which encompass short and intermediate range plans, those falling within 1 to 5 years. What is the importance of strategic planning? Strategic planning assists in coping effectively with future contingencies. It provides an early opportunity to correct inevitable mistakes, and it helps in making decisions about the right things at the right time. It also focuses on what actions to take in order to shape the future as desired. Major steps involved in planning. There are 7 major steps involved in planning, and we will discuss each one of them. Step 1 asks for clarifying the problem by determining the aim. Does this aim require a new plan, modification of an existing plan, or the elimination of any present plan? And lastly, what will the accomplishment of this aim mean to the firm? Step 2 calls for obtaining complete information about the activities involved. And in step 3, analyze and classify the information. Information on similar subjects is classified so that like data or similar data are put together or stored together. Step 4 of the planning process involves establishing planning premises and constraints. Premises are the assumptions and constraints are the limitations. Helpful in this step are the following questions which the planners should ask themselves. What important assumptions regarding the future are being made to evolve the plan? Are the premises inclusive, and do they cover all contingencies? Lastly, what assumptions must be carefully watched to detect changes which might have a serious effect on any plan? In step 5, determine alternate plans. Considerations include: does the plan have the flexibility to adjust to changed situations? Is the plan acceptable to the operating personnel? And what new equipment, space, personnel, training, and supervising will be needed? In step 6, arrange detailed sequence and timing for the plan. Step 7, that is the last and final step, provides progress checkup to proposed plan. We come to the strategic planning process. What are the steps involved in strategic planning, or the planning which involves a time period of more than 5 years? Long-term planning. So step 1 is determining objectives. Step 2, gathering and analyzing information. Sources for gathering information may be other businessmen, accountants, suppliers, customers, attorneys, sales representatives, bankers, distributors, business magazines, etc. In step 3, assessing the strategic dimensions of the environment affecting the organization. Strategic environments are competition, technological environment, sociological environment, and political influences. Step 4 calls for conducting a resource audit of the firm. And in step 5, establishing strategic alternatives for courses of action. These alternatives may be according to marketing, growth, retrenchment, stability, and a combination of growth, retrenchment, and stability, and lastly, liquidation. Step 6 is choosing a strategic alternative to pursue and implement. I just now talked about the strategic alternatives. What are the factors affecting choice of strategic alternatives? These are perception of external dependence, attitude towards risk, awareness of past strategies, managerial power relationships, and organizational structure. We now come to the tactical planning process, encompassing short and intermediate range plans, that is 1 to 5 years duration. Tactical planning includes identify the major activities required to achieve a strategic objective or objectives. Necessary shifting, adding and subtracting of employees must be decided. Allocation of funds and time. Acceptable means of measuring accomplishments be included in the plan. These are one-sided definitions. The length of planning period is partly a function of the particular enterprise's production cycle, sales fluctuation, and stability of service pattern. Let us now discuss the major types of management plans. We had previously discussed the two major categories of management plans, and those are the strategic plans and the tactical plans. Now we will be discussing the types of management plans. Managers deal with many different types of plans daily. Some involve a single activity or individual, while others pertain to an entire department or the whole country. There are 7 common types of plans encountered by managers on a regular basis. First of these types of plans is policy. A policy is a verbal, written, or implied overall guide setting up the boundaries and direction in which managerial action will take place. Good policies are flexible, fairly easy to be interpreted, and consistent with other major policies of the organization. These are broad, general, and comprehensive, and these should be guarded against improper interpretation. Types are strategy, production, sales, financial, personnel. Procedure. A procedure is a series of related tasks that make up the chronological sequence and the established way of performing the work to be accomplished. It is tailor-made to achieve specific work and should not be followed rigidly. Next is method. A method deals with a task comprising one step of a procedure. For example, in a car assembly plant, there would be a procedure involving many steps till the car is completely assembled, and one of those steps would be called a method. A method prescribes a course of action to accomplish a task, is specific and detailed, needs to be planned thoroughly. Next type of plan is standard. Standard is a unit of measurement established to serve as a criterion or level of reference for performance. For example, the standard time required for the overhauling of a 50,000 tons per year capacity sugar mills may be laid down as 6 months. Standards may be established on the basis of past experience, appraisal, or the scientific method. It gives level of expected achievement, is tailor-made for a specific work, and needs to be updated with current operations. Budget. It is a plan for income and expenditure of money, personnel, purchased items, sales items, or any other entity about which determining the future course of action will assist in managerial efforts. For a given period, the budget consolidates many operational expectancies into a concise format. It is tailor-made for a specific work and is difficult to modify as situations require. Next is program. A program is a comprehensive plan that includes future use of different resources in an integrated pattern and establishes a sequence of required actions and time schedules for each in order to achieve stated objectives. A program integrates diverse but related activities into a unit. A program may include objectives, policies, procedures, methods, standards, and budgets. A production program, for example, can include the designation of materials, processes to be followed, machines to be used, skills to be utilized, function schedules to be met, and warehousing. Program should not be used to identify every type of plan. The last in the types of management plans is techno-factor. It is a technical approach to a selected factor such as time, cost, or material flow. Techno-factor is defined as a plan utilizing technical informational devices and systems to estimate completion times for projects. It assists in visualizing probable effect of selected factor, is comprehensive for selected factor, and believed to be rigid plan. Examples are program evaluation and review technique, which is commonly known as PERT. Then there is risk assessed management plan, also known as RAMP. Strategic planning tools. SWOT analysis is also called environmental analysis. It is one of the strategic planning tools. It examines the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats facing the enterprise. An analysis of the internal environment identifies the strengths and weaknesses that exist within the business. An analysis of the external environment identifies opportunities and threats, factors outside your control that may affect your business. We will now talk about decision making. Decision making is the selection based on some criteria of one behavior alternative from two or more behavior alternatives. The logical conclusion of problem solving is decision making. After problems have been thoroughly analyzed, decisions should be immediately forthcoming. For decision making to exist, there must be two or more alternatives. If there is no choice or only one choice, there is no decision to be made. What is the rationality in decision making or the logic behind decision making? Decision making is a means to an end. It facilitates the accomplishment of an objective or a goal. If appropriate means are chosen to reach desired ends, the decision is said to be rational. However, an apparent end may be a means for some future end. A decision is organizationally rational to the extent that it is aimed at the organization's goals, and a decision is personally rational if it is directed toward the individual's goals. Types of decision making. There are two types: non programmed decision making and programmed decision making. Non-programmed decision making is based on intuition, facts, experience, and considered opinion. Programmed decision making falls within the realm of operations research, and it includes game theory, probability theory, sampling theory, simulation theory, and linear programming. In the next tutorial, that is tutorial 4, I'll be talking to you about the organizing function of management. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.